to transfer pricing for tangibles. In this course, which we commonly call TP201, we're going to talk about transfer pricing for tangible goods, primarily using methods other than the comparable profits method. Comparable profits method was covered extensively in the course TP Fundamentals. So the first of the methods that we're going to consider, other than the CPM, is the comparable uncontrolled price method, or CUP, as it's commonly called. So with this method, what are we doing? We're essentially looking at the amount charged in the controlled transaction between two related parties by referencing it to the amounts charged in a comparable uncontrolled transaction. Now you'll find this both in the OECD guidelines and in our own Treasury regulations in the US in section -3, 482-3. And the key issue here is to say if you're looking at a comparison of the price of something tangible, you're going to want a high degree of similarity between the tangible good that is in the related party transaction to the tangible goods that are in the unrelated party transaction that you're using as a price reference point. So you think about all the characteristics of a product that might affect the price on it and say you'd want to be looking at those and controlling for differences there, or making adjustments for differences there if need be, in order to have a good comparison of the price of A as it should be equal to the price of B. Now in principle, this is the best method when especially your taxpayer, your company, is trading in the same goods in the same markets, also with independent unrelated parties, or you find a similar enterprise trading in the exact same goods, so to speak, in the same market at the same level of market, and you can observe those prices and apply it to your related party transaction, to your company. Now I'm going to talk about that again sort of in a more visual sense. So imagine that you're advising the taxpayer in this example, and the taxpayer is buying tangible property from a related party. That's the top line, the top arrow there. And you need to come up with a price that you would charge for that transaction. If your taxpayer also buys tangible property from an unrelated party that is comparable, which can be very commonly done, especially when goods are sort of standard commodity type goods, it may be that the price in that transaction is a very good reference point for pricing the transaction between the related party and the taxpayer. Similarly, it could be that the taxpayer you're representing is selling tangible property to a related party, in which case you might ask, are they also selling that same tangible property to an unrelated party? So this would give a reference point of what they should charge in the related party transaction. Now, you'd need to take into account any differences that exist between the two properties that are being sold. Is there maybe even differences in, say, shipping costs because one is further away than the other, or other facets like that to take into account. But with some adjustments, you can find that these can be very good reference points for doing transfer pricing. Now you've noted in the title at the top of this slide and in the previous one the word internal. And this is often used to denote that the transaction that you're using as a reference point is an uncontrolled transaction that is internal to the taxpayer's system, that they themselves are doing this transaction. It's also feasible to do a comparable uncontrolled price method with an external transaction, which we'll talk about next, but it's much harder to control for all the factors that might affect the pricing. Thank you for watching this video. Please leave comments if it's been helpful for you, or give us a like, and we'll start the next video to talk about an external CUP.